following NBC sports program is brought to you in living color.
Our show is brought to you by the B.F. Goodrich Tire Company. B.F. Goodrich. We're the other guys.
What you're looking at are some of the millions of votes for the players in tonight's All-Star game being counted by a computer. Now, here in the baseball world tonight, we want to take a couple of minutes to talk about All-Stars of yesterday and tomorrow. Now, we'll examine an overlooked part of baseball history, and thanks to an exclusive, in-depth study, you'll hear about and meet guys who became All-Stars for reasons you may have known nothing about. 1976, America's bicentennial year. You know, the part that baseball played has been completely overlooked. Some people say, baseball 200 years ago? Well, let's look at some of the evidence dug up by my impartial investigator.
Let's start with Paul Revere. Now, he could really take those hurdles. History books tell us that Paul raced through New England yelling, "The Redcoats are coming! The Redcoats are coming!" Wrong. Big Paul was yelling, "The Red Sox are coming! The Red Sox are coming!" It was April, and Paul was on his way to Fenway Park for the season opener. Another really big fan was George Washington. George's father wanted his hatchet back, so he gave George a baseball bat. But George dreamed of being a pitcher, and it's too bad that he threw his arm out, throwing silver dollars across the Rappahannock River. Spring training in Florida was George's idea. It hit him as soon as he got to Valley Forge. And did you know that George Washington didn't even want to be president until he found out that he could throw out the first ball of the season? And it was about this time that a sports writer coined the phrase, Washington, first in war, first in peace, and first franchise to move to Dallas. Now, where was Ben Franklin when all this was going on? In the dark, that's where. Someone had to start night baseball. He even invented the stove so there could be a hot stove league. And eyeglasses so bench jockeys would have something to needle the umpires about. The women were right in there, too. Betsy Ross was working her fingers right to the bone, making uniforms. She used red, white, and blue, which she had left over from another job. And remember Patrick Henry? You think Catfish Hunter wanted to be a free agent? Patrick Henry said, "Give me liberty or give me death." Of course, he was backed up by the Marvin Miller of his day, Tom Paine, who was always talking about the rights of man. And naturally, the owners, like King George III, they were upset over dissension. Some other big names come to mind. How about John Hancock? John was kind of the Kilroy of his day, always signing his John Hancock. So now we have autograph fans. Another big name was Benedict Arnold. Nobody stole signals like Big Ben Benedict Arnold. And Lafayette. He figured in the very first trade. France gave America Lafayette, and they got back corn, tobacco, and a general to be named later. And don't forget the scouts. The first scouting report was turned in on the British Army. The scout reported that they were tough to beat at home, not so tough on the road. Now, some facts do get distorted by time. What Thomas Jefferson really said was, all men are created equal, except knuckleball pitchers. Jefferson was quite a fan. He insisted on having the Declaration of Independence signed on July 3rd because he had box seats for the 4th of July doubleheader. And by now, everybody knows about America's first and biggest doubleheader, Lexington and Concord. I'm Joe Garagiola, and that's the way it was, wasn't it?
In tonight's All-Star game, you'll see a lot of outstanding players.
You know that pretty much by the statistics. But to me, statistics never tell a true story. One of the outstanding on-deck batters consistently, an all-star on-deck batter, is Joe Torre. What does it take to be a good on-deck batter?
Well, you've got to make, first of all, you've got to be sure that you've got your equipment in good shape. I get to the ballpark, the first thing I do is check the seams of my pants, because kneeling on your knee all the time puts a lot of stress and strain on the pants, and, you know, to split a seam during the course of a ball game could be awfully embarrassing.
Well, that's the hidden part of it. What about your equipment here?
You have to make a choice. You come down here now, you've got your kneeling pad, which is all important. Now, you've got the pine tar rag, which is right here. Now, this pine tar rag in particular has a little bit too much on there. So what I do is after I use the rag, I mix it with some rosin, spit on my hands a little bit, just so it's not too sticky, because if I only use the pine tar rag, I'd have trouble dropping this bat when I hit the ball. Then your other decision is whether you want to use the leaded bat, the weighted bat. Some guys' hands aren't big enough to be able to hold both the weighted bat and the regular bat. Of course, when you're young and you come up, you see a lot of these rookies. What they tend to do, Joe, is they get a little flustered, bases are loaded, and they know the next hitter, and they tend, some of them try to pull the donut off this way, and as you can see, it's literally impossible. You've got to bounce it off this way.
Now, I notice you're kneeling on your right knee. Are you a right knee on-deck batter?
Well, I started my career as a right knee on-deck batter, but to stay on one knee all the time, if the hitter at the plate happens to foul off a lot of pitches, your leg could fall asleep and you could be in big trouble.
Do you ever kneel on both knees? I see some fellas doing that.
Well, there is a reason for that. It has nothing to do with being on deck. It has a lot more to do with the pitcher who's pitching against them. What they're doing is not waiting to hit, but they're saying a little prayer.
What runs through your mind when the fellow who's up there right ahead of you hits a home run?
Fear. Fear. I'm scared to death.
What advice would you give to young players who really want to be good on-deck batters?
Here, if you step out of the way, I'll take a couple swings and try to explain what, what a kid coming up should do. Now, see, if you notice, when I took that swing, I spotted somebody in the stands that I knew, and you can either nod or give them a little hand hello or something like that.
Would you do that for us if you spotted somebody?
Sure. And do it this way. One of those numbers. Joe, wait a minute. Joe, that's one thing you don't do in the on-deck circle, is watch the planes. They're trying to break your concentration. You got to really discipline yourself to stay down, keep your head down, and if you're going to look up somewhere, it's got to be in the stands or at a camera.
Joe, when we go to a regular game or a World Series or like tonight, the All-Star game, are there certain players we should really be looking at in the on-deck circle?
Well, yeah, I think so, Joe. Lou Brock, for one. That's the slowest you'll see him move all year, is in the on-deck circle. And Hank Aaron, who is the epitome of nervousness, and you see him kneeling on that one leg. Bobby Bonds, get a chance to see him in the National League for so many years now. The people in the American League are starting to enjoy his performances in the on-deck circle.
Joe, you've really scouted them all. Are there any other players?
Well, Rod Carew, for instance, Joe, he has a tendency to get a little lonely on deck, and he needs a little counseling or somebody to talk to him. And I know Reggie Jackson, he has a habit of checking the crowds when he gets on deck, as I often do. Pitcher Lynn McLaughlin, to me, typifies a pitcher in the on-deck circle. I think that's the primary reason the American League went to the designated hitters, so that the pitchers didn't have to get in there. Greg Lazinski, when you think of Greg, you think of muscles. He likes to flex his muscles on deck. And then Thurman Munson, of course, from the Yankees, he sort of copies a Lou, as far as I'm concerned.
Twitchy.
Yeah.
I mean, are there any other players?
Well, a ball player on my ball club, Rusty Staub. For some reason or other, he uses the pine tar rag, but only in the dugout. He has somebody throw it to him when they're on deck. And I really don't know the reason, Joe, that he doesn't want anybody to know he uses the tar.
Joe, what changes would you like to see in baseball?
You know, they've been making so many changes to help the hitters with the DH in the American League. I think we're ready for the DODB.
DODB?
Yeah, the designated on-deck batter.
You'd like to see that?
Yes, in fact, I have a son, and I've already bought him a weighted bat and pine tar rag and a cushion, because I think it would make my heart proud to know one day he's in a major league uniform kneeling in my footsteps.
As we salute baseball's unsung specialists, the on-deck batters, the only thing left to say is let's go to the ball game. Or even better, let's go to the All-Star game.
Our show has been brought to you by the B.F. Goodrich Tire Company. B.F. Goodrich. We're the other guys.
July 15, 1975. The beer capital of America becomes the baseball capital of America as Milwaukee is host of the 46th annual All-Star Game. The All-Star fever reaches its peak today. Everybody from ground crews to stadium workers to sports fans have caught the fever here at County Stadium. All-Star fever begins early as the kids chase for autographs. Those youngsters get the same jump on an autograph that Willie Mays used to get on a fly ball. What a catch. He caught a catfish hunter. The chance of a lifetime here today getting autographs. There's been a state fair atmosphere here for 2 days, and the fever keeps building as this crowd starts to fill the stadium. It's been 20 years since the people of Milwaukee hosted an All-Star game, and they're eager for this drama to unfold. On the field, the players say hello to old friends. Even the rival managers find time to relax. Sailors really do have more fun. Hall of Famers Mickey Mantle and Stan Musial keep the flash bulbs popping. And the big bats, well, the big bats are getting ready. On the field and in the stands, the fever mounts as the countdown to game time continues. And plate umpire Bill Haller, using the special mud found only on the banks of the Delaware, rubs up the usual 96 baseballs. Get the shine off that ball, Bill. And blue-clad usherettes and some equally colorful fans brighten the scene. And the arrival of Secretary of State Henry Kissinger adds a touch of international color. The National League players enter together. And there are the American Leaguers.
From the Milwaukee Brewers, outfielder Hank Aaron.
The record crowd delivers a standing ovation to baseball's all-time home run king. Hank Aaron was the Milwaukee Braves sophomore the last time the All-Star Game was played here. Hammerin' Hank belongs to Milwaukee again, and the hometown fans love it. The fever rises as the All-Star captains are introduced. Stan Musial is the National League choice. And 20 years ago, Stan the Man's home run gave the National League an extra inning victory right here in Milwaukee. And Yankee Hall of Famer Mickey Mantle is the American League captain. Mantle also hit a home run that same day. A U.S. Navy color guard continues the pregame ceremonies. For a while, Dr. Kissinger leaves diplomacy for the diamond. The traditional opening toss is caught by Minnesota's batting champion, Rod Carew. Both are alumni of New York's George Washington High School. Two distinguished careers on two different playing fields. And now, baseball's All-Star Game is about to begin.
"20 years ago, in 1955, the All-Star Game was held at Milwaukee County Stadium. The host for that game, the National League Milwaukee Braves. And now, 20 years later, the second All-Star Game ever to be held in Milwaukee. Our host is the American League Milwaukee Brewers. As NBC Sports presents the 1975 All-Star Game, brought to you by your nearby Dodge dealer. We invite you to see why a lot of people are saying, "Hey, Charger," by the Gillette Track 2 shaving system, the closest thing to a perfect shave. And by Sears Tire and Auto Centers, now featuring the Sears Dynaglass Guardsman Radio. Hi, everybody. Kurt Gowdy with Joe Garagiola and Tony Kubek. And welcome to baseball's 46th All-Star Game.
And Kurt, you talk about that game that was played here in 1955. Like tonight, that game was loaded with superstars. In fact, 6 of them went to the Hall of Fame. And here is one I know you'll recognize right away. The splendid splinter, Ted Williams. 300-game winner, early win. 536 lifetime home runs, Mickey Mantle. 7-time National League batting champion, Stan the Man Musial. A 2.74 lifetime earned run average, Whitey Ford. And 3-time American League Most Valuable Player, Yogi Berra.
And there was another player in that 1955 All-Star Game who is also here tonight, baseball's all-time home run king, Henry Aaron. In fact, with tonight's appearance, he will tie Willie Mays and Stan Musial by appearing in 24 All-Star games.
All right, let's go back and take a look at a couple of highlights of that 1955 All-Star Game.
County Stadium is jam-packed for baseball's Midsummer Dream Classic, the 22nd All-Star Game. Cleveland's Al Lopez and New York's Leo DeRocher match managerial wits before Commissioner Ford Frick and 45,000 other baseball fans. Robin Roberts started for the National Leaguers, while pitched Harvey Keene in from third in the first inning. So it was 1-0 favor of the junior loop. Then with 2 on, the senior circuit was in more hot water when Mickey Mantle teed off on Roberts. The cameraman had a hard time finding the fence, but Mickey didn't. His hit cleared the fence in deep center field for a home run. The American League was the underdog, but you'd never have known it, as Nellie Fox and Ted Williams escorted Mickey Mantle around the base paths to make it a 4-0 ball game. Another run in the 6th made it 5-0. In the 8th, the National Leaguers finally tied it up, and knotted it was till the bottom of the 12th, when Stan Musial of the Cardinals, playing in his 12th All-Star Game, stepped in. And there's your ball game, a circuit clout by Stan the Man, giving the National League its 5th All-Star victory in the last 6 years. One of baseball's great stars wins the All-Star Game with a sudden death flourish. It's all over, but the shouting.
Stan Musial and Mickey Mantle are here tonight. They've been named honorary captains. First time we've had honorary captain. Musial's old teammate, Joe Garagiola, Mantle's old teammate, Tony Kubek, and they're both old, talked to the captains earlier.
Stan, that big home run you hit 20 years ago,
You called that shot and you told Yogi something as you walked up. Tell us about it.
Well, I told Yogi, this has been a long day and we're all tired. Let's get out of here.
What'd you tell the guys on the bench?
Well, DeRocha said, Stan, you owe me one. I said, all right, Leo, try to hit one out for you, something like that.
Yeah, you said you were going to hit it. Where was the pitch?
Well, the pitch was right in my eyes. I got a good look at it and got good wood on it.
Did you ever see a pitch that you didn't get a good look at?
Well, not really.
Not really. You're doggone right. Stan, okay, you're the captain of this National League club. Let me ask you about your club. Start with the catcher, Johnny Bench.
Great player. Good power.
Steve Garvey's at first base.
Yeah, Steve is very, very steady.
And you got Joe Morgan at second.
Wonderful. Great all-around ball player.
And you got Concepcion as short.
Good arm and great defensive guy.
And you got Ron Say at third base.
He's good and steady.
Good and steady. The outfield you gotta like. Rose.
Oh, Pete's a great leadoff man. He'll get on those bases.
And you got Lou Brock.
Exciting ball player and good to have on our team.
And you got Jim Wynn.
Jim, good power hitter. We need some power. So Jim, he'll give us that power.
And you're optimistic about this.
Oh, yeah, this should be a great game. We're looking forward to it.
Makes that seem like 20 years ago since you were here for that All-Star game in County Stadium?
No, it doesn't, Tony. I remember that game a little bit. I know I hit a home run in that game, but I remember more than anything else Musial hitting that late inning, extra inning home run, and I always felt like Yogi told him what was coming.
Fastball right down the middle, huh?
Uh-huh.
Let's take a look as honorary captain of the American League's team at the lineup for this ball club, starting with first base Gene Tennis of the Oakland A's.
Well, I know he gets a lot of bases on balls, and he's a good man to have around because he can play any place.
You played against Rod Carew. What about him?
Rod Carew's led the league 4 times, I think, hitting, and he might do it again, so he's got to be one of our best hitters in the American League.
Underrated, I think, the shortstop, Bert Campaneris from Oakland.
Campaneris is a real good all-around shortstop. He can cover all the ground, he can steal bases, he can beat you.
A Yankee, third baseman, Greg Nettles.
One of my favorites. Of course, I'm prejudiced to the Yankees, you know. Craig Nettles could win the game with a home run. He's hit a lot of homers.
Thurman Munson, the catcher, another Yankee.
And another one of my favorites. I think Munson's one of the best catchers we've ever had for the Yankees.
Left fielder, Rudy.
Rudy, I've only seen in the World Series, you know, in the games that I've watched on TV, and he looks like a winner to me, too.
A man who now in the Yankee outfield with a great tradition of Yankee center fielders, Bobby Bonds.
Got to be one of the most powerful leadoff men I've ever seen. He's got 20 home runs, and he could also win the game with a stolen base or a home run.
Another man with pretty good power, Reggie Jackson in right.
I've always thought probably the next superstar in the American League, probably.
Mickey, thanks a lot, and hope you handle the squad well off the bench.
I will. Thank you, Tony.
All right, the pregame ceremonies are about to begin. Let's go down to the field.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to County Stadium for the 1975 All-Star Game. Let's all greet these great All-Stars, beginning with the National League. The manager from the National League champion Los Angeles Dodgers, Walter Alston. The National League coaches from the Pittsburgh Pirates, their manager, Danny Murtaugh. From the St. Louis Cardinals, their manager, Red Schoendienst. Batting first and playing right field, 9 times an All-Star and 3 times the National League's batting champion from the Cincinnati Reds, Pete Rose. Batting second, playing left field, he stole 118 bases last year to set a new record from the St. Louis Cardinals, Lou Brock. Batting third and playing second base, the 6-time All-Star among the batting leaders all season from the Cincinnati Reds, Joe Morgan. Batting fourth and catching, 3-time National League RBI leader and National League's top vote getter from the Cincinnati Reds, Johnny Bench. Batting fifth and playing first base, the National League's most valuable player in 1974 and the most valuable player in last year's All-Star game from the St. Louis Dodgers, Steve Garvey. Batting sixth and playing center field, he hit over 20 home runs 8 times in his career, known as the toy cannon, from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Jimmy Wynn. Batting seventh and playing third base, the National League starting third baseman for the second consecutive year from Los Angeles Dodgers, Ron Cey. Batting eighth and playing shortstop, twice an All-Star, enjoying his finest season in 1975 from the Cincinnati Reds, Dave Concepcion. Pitching and warming up in the bullpen, tied for National League lead in shutouts from the Pittsburgh Pirates, Jerry Royce. And now here are the remaining National League All-Stars. From the Atlanta Braves, pitcher Phil Niekro. From the Chicago Cubs, third baseman Bill Medlock. From the Cincinnati Reds, first baseman Tony Perez. From the Houston Astros, first baseman Bob Watson. From the Los Angeles Dodgers, pitchers Mike Marshall, Andy Messerschmidt, Don Sutton. From the Montreal Expos, catcher-outfielder Gary Carter. From the New York Mets, pitcher John Metlock. Tom Seaver. From the Philadelphia Phillies, shortstop Larry Boa. Second baseman Dave Cash. Outfielder Greg Lazinski. Pitcher Doug McGraw. From the Pittsburgh Pirates, outfielder Al Oliver. Catcher Manny Sanguian. From the St. Louis Cardinals, outfielder Reggie Smith. From the San Diego Padres, pitcher Randy Jones. From the San Francisco Giants, outfielder Bobby Mercer. Now let's greet the American League All-Stars. The manager from the world champion Oakland A's, Alvin Dark. The American League coaches from the Milwaukee Brewers, their manager, Del Crandall. From the Texas Rangers, their manager, Billy Martin. Batting first and playing center field, twice he's stolen 30 bases and hit 30 home runs in a season from the New York Yankees, Bobby Bonds. Batting second and playing second base, four-time American League batting champion and current leader from the Minnesota Twins, Rod Carew. Batting third and catching, fourth in batting average and fifth in hits in the American League from the New York Yankees, Thurman Munson. Batting fourth and playing right field, American League's most valuable player in 1973, averaging over 31 homers each of his last 7 years from the world champion A's, Reggie Jackson. Batting fifth and playing left field, star of the 1972 World Series, 1974 American League most valuable player runner-up from the Oakland A's, Joe Rudy. Batting sixth and playing third base, averaging 23 home runs each of his last 5 seasons from the New York Yankees, Greg Nettles. Batting seventh and playing first base, only man ever to hit home runs in his first 2 World Series at-bats from the world champion Oakland A's, Gene Tennis. Batting eighth, playing shortstop, he's stolen more than 500 bases and over 30 for 10 consecutive years from the Oakland A's, Bert Campaneris. Pitching and warming up in the bullpen, former Most Valuable Player, Cy Young Award winner and American League's All-Star Game winner in 1971 from the Oakland A's, Vida Blue. And now here are the remaining American League All-Stars. From the Baltimore Orioles, pitcher Jim Palmer. From the Boston Red Sox, outfielder Fred Lynn. First baseman Carl Yastrzemski. From the California Angels, third baseman Dave Chalk. Pitcher Nolan Ryan. From the Chicago White Sox, shortstop Bucky Dent. Pitchers Rich Gossage. Jim Cott. Second baseman George Orta. From the Cleveland Indians, outfielder George Hendrick. Detroit Tigers catcher Bill Freehand. From the Kansas City Royals, pitcher Steve Busby. Outfielder Al McRae. From the Milwaukee Brewers, outfielder Hank Aaron.
To hit more to right, right center than the left. There's a long drive. Balls it deep, deep. It is gone. He did it. He did it. Henry Aaron.
First baseman George Scott. For the New York Yankees, pitcher Jim Catfish Hunter. From the Oakland A's, pitcher Raleigh Fingers. Outfielder Claudel Washington. From the Texas Rangers, outfielder Mike Hargrove. Infielder Toby Hera. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in All-Star history, honorary captains have been named to these teams. Introducing the captain of the National League, Hall of Famer and 7-time National League batting champion, Stan the Man Musial. And the captain of the American League, Hall of Famer, 536 lifetime home runs, Mickey Mantle. Ladies and gentlemen, toasting the colors by the United States Navy and the 84th Division Bicentennial Unit. Our national anthem will be sung by one of America's favorite entertainers, Glenn Campbell. And now, to honor America, let us all join in singing our national anthem.
can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch, we're so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red flare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We'll return to County Stadium for the 1975 All-Star Game as the National League All-Stars meet the American League All-Stars. Just a delightful night here. Behind the plate will be Bill Haller of the American League working his third All-Star Game. Chris Palakudis is at first base. At second base is Marty Springstead of the American League. Bruce Froiming of the National League will be working at third. Down the left field line, Russ Getz of the American League and John McSherry of the National League is covering the right field line. Here is Vida Blue, who has won 12 games and lost 7. The last 2 starts, his club hasn't exactly worn the cover off the ball. They've been shut out. He lost to Oakland 2-0 and to Baltimore 4-0. 17-game winner last year. Looks like he'll surpass that record this year. He's been the ace of the Oakland pitching staff, although Ken Holtzman now has reeled off 6 wins in a row. The Oakland A's represented here tonight by one of their ace pitchers, Vida Blue, the defending world champs.
And if there was anybody that could upstage Vida Blue, it'd be Charlie Finley and his green cap, cowboy cap. I think it was a 57-gallon hat that he had, and giving out orange baseballs.
Hear that?
Thurman Munson behind the plate for the American League All-Star team. We asked Thurman Munson any problems catching pitchers he has not seen before. Let's hear what he has to say about Vida Blue and the rest of the staff.
You know, Vida mixes up the pitches real well, Tony. You know, but actually right now, you know, my mind really isn't too much in the All-Star game. My wife's back in Canton, Ohio, Diana, and she's expecting a baby any time now, and I just want to let her know, you know, I wish her luck, and I just wish I could be there to be with her.
Good for him. He said, I didn't want to give anybody the impression that I'm not here to win. He said, but my mind is on other things.
His mind better be on Vida Blue right now. Here's Pete Rose leading off and takes a look at the ball. Pete Rose hitting .319, a switch hitter. Right to the box. There goes your no-hitter, and the first man up, Rose is on.
The starting pitcher for the American League is the Oakland A's Vida Blue.
Right fielder, Pete Rose.
Leadoff batter, Pete Rose. The Cincinnati Star breaks out of his 1-for-12 All-Star slump with the game's first hit.
He played in 7 previous All-Star games. This telecast, presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Commissioner of Baseball is prohibited. And Major League Baseball has the right of approval of the announcers for this event. Lou Brock usually bats leadoff. For the Cardinals, he's hitting number 2 in the American League lineup tonight. He's hit .314 this year. His second start in an All-Star game, a ball to him. He was a starting left fielder in the '67 game. He's played in 3 other games. Behind him will be little Joe Morgan. Bounded foul. You know, you wonder about the batting order. If you might not have Rose hitting second and Brock leading off, guys.
You wonder about it. I just wonder how much thought goes into it. When you got, you know, what's it like? It's like plugging in AC or DC, I guess. I don't know. You can't go wrong whoever you put up there.
A 1-1 delivery. There's a fly ball in the left field. Coming on is Rudy. He's got it. Playing it halfway is Rose. And retreats to first. 1 down. Brock goes to left field a lot. In fact, in batting practice, all he did was try to hit the left field.
Here's
and
a
Rudy
man,
was positioned for it.
Man coming up, I think, fellas, has had about the best offensive year of almost anybody in baseball. He leads in so many departments, or is close to the leadership.
He is second in batting, 345. Fourth in runs batted in. A little man. First in stolen bases in the National League with 40, and first in walks. What more do you want him to do? Lou checks his runner. Fastball laced into center. Bobby Bonds can't get it. Rounding his here comes the throw. It's there, and they got him. Bobby Bonds throws him out. Nettles puts the tag on the sliding road, and Joe Morgan goes down to second on the throw to third.
Let's look at it again. You can bet that the National League, especially Pete Rose, knows that Bonds has been having trouble with his legs, but Bobby got over on the short pop to center field very quickly and made a good throw. Here it is again, Joe.
Rose made the decision, and I thought he was going to make it when he went in with his hands, because that's a tough tag to make. He went for the corner, but it was right there. A beautiful throw, a good tag, and a good call.
Cincinnati's second baseman, Joe Morgan, jumps on an inside fastball for a base hit. Bobby Bonds, on 1 hop, fires a perfect strike to Greg Nettles, who nails a diving Pete Rose. Let's take another look at it. Good slide, good tag, and a great throw by Bobby Bonds.
You can count on Pete to give you a thrill right off the bat, can't you?
Never forget when he crashed into Fosse in the All-Star game in extra innings in Cincinnati. Johnny Bench. He's only been up 8 years. He's only been elected to the All-Star team 8 times. He's hitting .293, 19 homers, 73 runs batted in. Soft curve is inside to him for a ball. Morgan at second. There are 2 outs. The National League's had 2 hits off Vida Blue here in the top of the first. No score, though. The outfield's deep and set toward left. And that one is outside. Heller was all ready to call it a strike, but then changed his mind. He started to come up with that right arm. 2 balls, no strikes to Bench. Steve Garvey on deck. That fastball's bounced foul. 2-1 to Johnny Bench. There is Garvey, a right-in man last year who wound up as the most valuable player in the game. 3-2 count. Let up pitch is popped up. Good pitch by Vida Blue. Campaneris is calling for it. In foul ground, he has it. The National League is retired. They had no runs, 2 hits, 1 left. At the end of the first half inning, it's no score.
Feels like my eyes collect all the dust in Shea Stadium. Sun, wind, and pollen get me too.
Strike 3.
No wonder my eyes get bloodshot. That's why I use Murine 2. It soothes my eyes and clears them up fast.
Murine 2, a name you can trust next to your eyes to soothe, refresh, and clear them up fast.
Murine 2. It's like having another right arm.
Murine 2, a name you can trust next to your eyes.
We asked Johnny Bench before the game about receiving the opposing pitchers that he hits against all year. What's it like?
Curtis, my biggest concern whenever it comes to an All-Star game, I guess, is I know how many millions of people are watching, and it's always a concern of mine as to how I'm going to handle his breaking stuff, how much his fastball moves. My biggest concern is to try to get out of the game before Niekro comes in. I don't want any part of that knuckleball.
He's talking about Joe Niekro, the Atlanta Braves. He may be in there tonight, too, Phil Niekro. Jerry Royce, 10 wins, 6 losses. 16-game winner last year, is facing Bobby Bonds, who now is in an American League uniform. Recent years in All-Star games, he's been in the National League uniform. This is his first start. He appeared in 2 previous All-Star games. He hits a drive to deep right. Back goes Rose. Warning track has it. First out.
Joe, Kurt, that wind's blowing in a little bit from right field. I thought that ball might go out. It's not blowing too hard, but maybe just enough to keep the ball in the ballpark.
He's got such a heavy bat and such a quick swing. It's a 37 inches, 36 ounces, that bat. And talking to him before the game because of a leg injury, he said he was going to lay back, which would force him to hit to the opposite field, but he thought he'd have a pretty good cut at it, and he certainly did that.
Here's a man that handles a bat better than anybody in the major league right now, Rod Carew. Fouls it back. He's leading the majors with a .373 average. He's won the last 3 American League batting titles, 4 in all. And here's the trophy. He received the most votes by you fans across America. He won it going away. Rod Carew, over 3 million votes of the Minnesota Twins. Outside, he can bunt, he can beat out hits, he can spray line drives all over. And this year he's hitting more home runs. He's hit 10. A little story on that we'll tell you about. Lying inside. When I guess he went to arbitration, they pointed out that don't pay big money for singles hitters, and he said, well, I'll hit some homers this year then.
He's kind of caught in between because there you see his stance. He's got 4 different stances that he owns up to.
There's a line drive to the left fielder, Brock. The first 2 American leaguers have hit the ball hard, but right at somebody. 2 down. Thurman Munson of the Yankees hitting 3rd, batting .326 for the season. 6 homers, 55 RBIs. Munson himself says, I'm sort of dumpy looking. I'm not tall and rangy like Fisk, and I'm not graceful, and I don't do this and that. But he says, you know what? I'm a pretty good ball player. We have no score. Last of the first inning, there are 2 down. Bases empty. Jerry Royce's pitch is high. Royce, born in St. Louis, Missouri, lives down in Santa Barbara, California. He leads the National League in shutout side with Randy Jones and Messersmith. And hit by the pitch is Munson. He's on.
First breaking ball that Royce threw, he's been throwing the ball hard, fastballs. This one really came way in. I guess that's about all most of these pitchers will do, Joe and Curtis. Come in and rear hard. You only got to go an inning, 2, 3 innings at the most.
Throw strikes, yeah.
Surprised me, though, that Blue threw so many changeups to bench.
Hey. Reggie Jackson, batting .244, not a high average.
He said he's going for home runs every swing, Curb. Let's see.
Well, didn't have much of a chance on that one as Royce knocks him down. Reggie has 18 homers, 52 RBIs. I'll never forget the one he hit in Detroit up on the light tower and the light standard on top of the roof there. Right by him. That was a home run rip. 1 ball, 1 strike to Reggie Jackson with 2 outs and Thurman Munson at first. No score. The American League batting in the last of the first inning. Jackson played deep and straight away. Foul as he swung late. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A ball and 2 strikes to Jackson. He struck him out. Caught looking. A beautiful pitch to the inside corner. No runs, no hits, 1 left. At the end of 1, nothing. Here are 4 different shots of Vida Blue taking his warm-up pitches.
That's about the way it must look to some hitters, too, boy. Where's it coming from?
And we're going to have a parade of Dodgers up in the second now. It'll be Steve Garvey, Jim Wynn, and Ron Say. Garvey, ball 1 to him. Consistency is the best term to describe Garvey. Hitting .318, 11 homers, 56 runs batted in. There's a long drive. That one's deep. It is going. It is gone. A home run. The league has jumped off to a 1-0 lead, and Garvey is making a bid to win the Most Valuable Player award at the All-Star game again. He won it last year.
Look at that short, compact swing again. Looked like a fastball, a little bit up and in. Let's watch it. There it is, about bell high. Did he jump on? Look at the expression. He knows it's gone, Joe.
Vida Blue against Steve Garvey of the Los Angeles Dodgers, who was voted Most Valuable Player in last year's All-Star game. Top of the second. He gets his pitch, and there she goes. A home run for Steve Garvey. The National League leads 1-0.
there's the enthusiasm. It always tickles me when players say it's just another game. It's not just another game when you act like that. Those are little boys in there.
Jimmy Wynn was going to the left field seats also as he followed him. Wynn's average 270, 14 homers, 44 RBIs. You know, usually have the parade of quotes just before the All-Star game. Oh, I don't really want to play. I'd rather rest. We were in St. Louis, Joe, Saturday, and Tony and I said to Jim, you want to go there? He says, sure I do. He said, I don't know why he even said it, he said. It's a great honor. Curve, there's a high drive in the deep left. Rudy's backing up. That one is gone. It sort of kept sailing. Back-to-back home runs by Dodgers. Steve Garvey and Jimmy Wynn.
Look at that bench. They're all waiting for Jimmy Wynn.
And
the Dodgers are getting so far in the All-Star game as we look at again what they've lacked the first part of the season. Lack of offense. Wynn knows it.
He's watching it all the way. Look at that, man. He wanted to replay.
Now it's Jimmy Wynn, the toy cannon. He gets his pitch, measures a curveball, and there she goes into the left field bleachers. This blast is the 100th home run hit in All-Star games. And it marks only the third time back-to-back home runs have been hit in All-Star games. The last time was in 1956 when Mickey Mantle and Ted Williams connected off Warren Spahn. And all three are now in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Here's Ron Say. Let's see what he does. Back-to-back home runs by Garvey and Wynn. The National League's out in front 2-0. They've won 11 of the last 12. 3 in a row. Blue has been rocked here. Busby's warming up in the American League bullpen. We pause briefly for identification. This is the NBC television network. 3-0 delivery. There's a smash in the left field, a base hit. Rudy on the first stop, back in with it. 3 hits in succession.
Let him hit 3-0. You think Mr. Alston is turning them loose?
Ron Say, the third Dodger in the starting lineup, is up there. Count is 3 balls, no strikes. Say drills a fastball in the left field. Base hit.
Here's Dave Concepcion of the Cincinnati Reds, hitting .265, 3 homers, 37 RBI. They say he's been hitting the ball hard lately, but right at somebody. Say at first, no outs. Curve is over for a strike. 2-0, National League ahead. And the Secretary of State with the Commissioner of Baseball talking over the home runs in the National League hitting right now. That's a pop foul. That'll be in back of the National League dugout, out of play. And Blue jumps ahead of him, 2 strikes. The 0-2 delivery. Break on the corner. Concepcion is caught looking. That's the first out in the top of the second. And here's Royce, the National League pitcher, coming up. Well, let's see now what the strategy will be. Will he be bunting, trying to get Say down to second with the top of the order, Pete Rose coming up. Nettles is in on the grass at third. This is not an artificial surface. Very few of them in the American League. The bunt's on. Blue is going to whirl and go to second. It's in time there. They knocked Say out at second base. Campaneris took the throw from the pitcher Blue. Royce is at first.
Let's look at Nettles again coming in. Royce tried to bunt away from him. A good fielding play by Vida Blue to get Say, who had a good jump.
Here's a different angle. Watch Blue. He kind of stumbles as he throws that ball. There's a pretty good call right there, folks.
Right, that was a lot closer than
yes, it was.
Appeared that it was going to be. All right, here's the top of the order, and Pete Rose singled his first time. Rose has got a challenge to you and me, Tony.
What's that?
Ball. That's a foul ball off his bat handle for a strike. Remember, we were talking about Ted Simmons may be the best switch hitter in the major leagues right now with his high average both ways. Rose said, I've got to get going. Catch up with Simmons. I'm going to show you guys. That one's deep into right field. Twisting toward the corner. It's a fair ball and grabbed out there by Reggie Jackson, who played it very well. 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 left. End of an inning and a half. That's an interesting shot. Billy Martin, coaching at first for the American League, who has trouble with the American League umpire, is telling his tales of woe to two National League umpires, Chris Pellicudis and John McSherry, as if they care. They got their own problem over their own league.
Whatever he said, Tony, got about 7 on the laugh meter.
Well, you recall the last time we saw Martin and the Raiders in Texas, he had the conversation mic'd at home plate.
With Luciano, that's right.
Joe Rudy leading off. And here's a sharply hit ball to third. Pepper Martin style, played by Ron Say, and Rudy's out. 1 down.
Joe Rudy will lead it off. Looks like a base hit, but Ron Say's strong throw, and Rudy is out.
Tony, you guys follow that ball right off your chest into the glove.
Never tried to catch it off my chest.
Yeah, but you did off your Adam's apple.
Yeah, I tried that. Looks like a juggler. Marcel Marceau. You know, I think that third base position has changed, not so much on the grass, but on artificial surface, it's tough to catch a ball off your chest. Although this is natural grass, of course.
Jerry Royce now will pitch to Greg Nettles, hitting .284 with the Yankees, 14 homers, 55 runs batted in. He wasn't figuring much in the balloting up until about 3 weeks ago, and he got quite a surge. Kubek...
Don't get me in trouble.
He was the campaign manager. He was the campaign manager.
There's a high fly in the right field. Under it is Pete Rose, and Pete puts it away. He plays everywhere. Right field, second base, he played his first All-Star game. He's played left field in recent years for the Reds. And when they moved him to third base this year, the Reds started to go.
Right.
2 down, nobody on, Gene Tennis up. They were just trying to figure the last back-to-back home runs in an All-Star game. We'll tell you about it in a minute. Pitch is outside by Royce to Gene Tennis, who's hitting .272 with 14 homers for the A's this year. Garvey and Wynn have had back-to-back home runs in the second inning here tonight, and the last back-to-back homers were by Ted Williams and Mickey Mantle off Warren Spahn back in 1956.
And there it goes, a tremendous home in the right center. It's a 440-foot blast into the bullpen, and Ted trots home behind Nellie Fox for the first 2 American League runs to make it 5-2. He's home in number 4 in All-Star play for Williams, and he thereby ties Musial for most home runs in these All-Star Classics. Mickey Mantle follows with another home run. A line shot into the front rows of the bleachers in left center. And the American League followers in the crowd rock the rafters in frenzy.
They really are playing Tennis to pull. Concepcion is just taking the hole away from Tennis. He's moved over to almost next to Ronce.
The 2-0 pitch. Sinker ball by Royce that time, 2-1.
That smattering of boos you heard for Tennis, and it happened when he was introduced pregame, is because the fans here wanted George Scott to make that position.
Ground ball, booted by Concepcion, is short.
Took a bad hop.
I did. Just as he went to get it, the ball took that funny
Rang the bell
him.
right there.
Yes, sir. That was clang time.
Oh.
After Nettles pops out, Gene Tennis hits a sharp ground ball to short. Tricky hop. Concepcion is momentarily shaken up on the play, but stays in the game. This is the All-Star game. He wants to stay in.
You know, this field is really in pretty good shape. A couple of weeks ago, they had, well, 2 rock concerts on this field, but they resodded most of the field. Here is the play again. Concepcion gets a little flat-footed, back on his heels.
You know, on this the Dodgers, there's Walter Alston, the Dodger manager.
That's Phil Bueller,
right.
the trainer.
Every member of the starting team, except the pitcher, Royce, and Brock, are in the Eastern Division of the National League. You have 2 Dodgers in the corners, Say and Garvey at third and first. You have Concepcion and Morgan at short and second from the Reds. And here's on deck, Henry Aaron's going to be sent up to bat. Pinch hit for pitcher Vida Blue. They scored an error against Concepcion on that play. 2 outs. Tennis at first. Campaneris the batter. Fouled away. In the All-Star rules, the starting 8 must go at least 3 innings. Must play the first 3 innings. They can play the whole game if the manager wants them to. They have to play at least 3 innings. Campaneris batting .268. Been in a hot streak lately. Hank Aaron on deck. That pitch tailed away from him. A ball and 2 strikes. There's Aaron, the home run king of all time. 20 years later. Back again. An all-star game in County Stadium. What an ironic twist. High and away. 2-2 to Campaneris. With 2 out, Gene Tennis at first.
Royce continues to throw very hard.
He's become the ace of the Pirate staff. That ball's hit into right field. Tennis is easing up at second. On first base is Campanera, and here comes Aaron. And here's the ovation. Standing ovation. This is the 24th All-Star game for Hank, tying him with Willie Mays and Stan Musial for the most All-Star games played. 2 on, 2 out, a ball to him. This year, the designated batter is hitting .236, 9 homers, 36 runs batted in. We saw him hit one off Nolan Ryan in his park or something against the wind. There's a fastball strike, 1-1. Gene Tennis is at second base. Bert Campaneris is at first. The National League's ahead 2-0 on back-to-back home runs by Steve Garvey and Jim Wynn. Bobby Bonds on deck. Broken back. Line drive. They're safe, and it's a trap ball. They called it a trap ball. Now they're appealing.
Fleming's calling
It is a line
now.
drive.
Bruce Fleming is now saying that he did catch it before it hit the
I
ground.
thought it was a line drive, and it was. Concepcion got the ball, and that's all at the end of 2 innings, 2-0 National League.
Campaneris making his 5th All-Star game. Singles past Joe Morgan. The American League has its first hit.
Batting for Blues, number 44, Henry Aaron.
And there it is, what they've been waiting for. Manager Alvin Dark sends in Henry Aaron to pinch hit for Vida Blue. And this marks Aaron's 24th All-Star appearance, and it ties a record. The Milwaukee fans respond. No doubt what's on their mind. Hammer and Hank. But baseball's all-time home run king hits a broken bat line drive to Concepcion for the 3rd out.
Well, the new pitcher is Steve Busby for the American League, who's won 11 and lost 7 this year. Earned run average at 2.64. Lives in Linda, California, born in Burbank. He's a cousin of Jim Busby, the Atlanta coach. He attended USC, who turns out so many outstanding collegiate players that go on into Major League Baseball. He pitched 2 no-hitters in the major leagues against the Tigers in '73, against Milwaukee last year.
Busby okays the sign. Popped up. This should be it. Cookie Rojas on the outfield grass. Centers himself on the ball. He squeezes this one. And Busby has done it again. This 24-year-old right-hander from Fullerton, California, has just pitched his 2nd Major League no-hitter in a year and a half.
Here are the coaches. Red Schoendienst is coaching at 3rd for the National League. And the canny Irishman, Danny Murtaugh, over at first.
He's some piece of work, isn't he?
Oh.
What a guy.
He's made more comebacks than any show business personality. Lou Brock starts it off, 3rd inning. The National League ahead 2-0. Brock, Morgan, and bench. Fouled away. Brock, his first time up, line to left. Blue was cuffed around. In 2 innings, he gave up 5 hits, 2 runs, both homers. 1-2.
Tony, is it just me? But look at his bat. Doesn't it look a little more yellow than normal, like it's been soaked in oil or something?
Now what they call a Harry Walker bat, where they used to dip it in a certain kind of paint or shellac.
Yeah, but that's not two-tone.
There's a shot in the gap. Rudy very quickly up. Brock makes his turn. And now we'll see the all-time holder of the base stealing record in 1 year. 118 last year, Lou Brock go to work. And already the crowd, even though he's a National Leaguer, then go, go.
Lou Brock of the Cardinals lines a single to left center field.
Brock tied with Cedeno for second in the National League in stolen bases with 36.
He's got to be careful, though. That Busby's got a great move. He's probably got the best move for a right-handed pitcher I've seen, and he'll have to pick him right off.
Joe Morgan, single to center his first time. A pair of this is there. Brock at first and Morgan at the bat. Morgan can pull the ball behind the runner. He could dump one. He could drag. He could go for power. And an extra base hit could score Brock from first. Brock gets about a 3.5-step lead. That's all he wants, he says. Quick move. Bach has been called on Steve Busby.
This is the one they've been calling a lot this year, where that right-handed pitcher just pivots on that left heel. You've got to step toward the bag and throw. You can't pivot and then step after you throw, deceiving the base runner.
Now, Morgan for sure will be trying to hit that ball to the right side. And move Brock to third, at least, or get him in. They're still even with the bags at the corners. Just a little high on outside. That was a breaking pitch down. A 2-0 pitch.
Look out, second base.
Good pitch by Busby. Breaking pitch behind 2-0. Morgan hits a high pop to first baseman Gene Tennis. Takes it in foul ground. There's one down. Brock holding at second.
Joe Morgan is the hitter. Busby, a quick throw, and Chris Pellicutis, the umpire at first, says balk. And Brock goes to second. But Busby bears down and gets Joe Morgan, one of the best offensive players in baseball. Morgan pops to Tennis. Morgan will let go of that bat. Still got it.
Johnny Bench fouled to third his first time up. We've had only 2 previous balks in All-Star games. Bob Friend in 1960 and Old Turkey Neck Stu Miller in 1961.
But you remember that one in Candlestick Park? It blew him off the mound.
Yogi was hitting.
I
played in that game. That's the one where Kenny Boyer made all the errors. The wind was swooshing ground balls around in the infield. Balls were bouncing over guys' heads. Wind pushed.
Johnny Bench up. Brock at second. Brock he starts a dash. Brock doesn't steal third much.
Here he goes.
There it goes. There's a throw. Wide. He's in there. Brock steals third. He got a good jump on Busby.
Here's Lou Brock. Busby at a little disadvantage as he's not able to work his pickoff plays to bases with men from opposing teams. Munson got rid of the ball quickly, but there's no chance. Now the infield forced to come in.
With Johnny Bench at bat, Busby tries to keep a close tab on Lou Brock, but it doesn't work. There he goes. Safe, a stolen base. Watch it again. Munson has to hurry his throw, and it's wide.
A 3-0 delivery. There's a base hit. Brock comes in to score. Bench will make the turn. Rudy may hold him to a single. He does. 3-0 National League as they continue to hammer away.
3-0 pitch. Johnny Bench drills one past the third baseman, scoring Brock for a 3-run National League lead.
Bench leading the National League in doubles. Let's look again at the last time that Garvey came to the plate, and here's that home run.
And this was really blasted, Joe.
Yes, it was. No doubt about it. Fastball, Mr. Class.
Steve Garvey up again. All-Star most valuable player, the National League's most valuable player, and a Gold Glove first baseman in his first year as a regular. Busby had him going for that curveball. 1 ball, 1 strike. He bounces this one foul. That ball's hit hard in the left. That's 2 for 2 for Steve Garvey. Came in there where they're hitting close on tonight. 3 hits this inning off Busby.
Steve Garvey homered his last time up. Singles, his second base hit of the game. Runners at first and second.
Now here's Jimmy Wynn's home run. Tony Kubek his last time up.
Off by the blue once again. He got about the same pitch, maybe a little bit more over the plate than the one Garvey hit. Didn't hit it quite as good.
That one sort of floated in.
Yeah.
Jimmy Wynn. Runners on first and second, 1 out. 8 hits for the Nationals. Maybe a double play. They got 1. Over they go to first. Wide. Caru's throw is high and pulled Tennis off the bag. He had a tough pivot at second.
Drew a little bit off balance. The ball might have gotten stuck in his glove. Remember, he got tore up a couple of years ago, that knee, when somebody really belted him. Garvey got down quickly with men on first and second. A nice play by Gino.
Jimmy Wynn steps in. His ground ball is short, forces Garvey. Caru's relay is high. Wynn is safe. National League has runners on first and third. And Ron Say is the batter.
He hits a fly ball to left fielder Rudy. Back he goes.
Oh.
What a grab by Rudy. That's the kind of plays he makes in the World Series all the time.
He actually misjudged the ball. He started in and then had to really backtrack fast. But he recovered very well to save another runner, maybe 2.
Well, the National League picked up a run at the end of 2.5. It's 3-0 National League.
Say's drive looks like extra bases, but Joe Rudy makes this incredible one-handed catch. Let's take another look at it. Watch this play. Well, you need the good inner souls for a play like that. Joe Rudy.
Milwaukee County Stadium could have sold 100,000 seats for this game tonight. Our handheld camera high above. And Bobby Bonds has a curve strike. Joe Garagiola, this Royce has been impressive tonight. Only 1 hit off him so far.
There's our mini cam from the roof, and I guess that's Corey Leibel who's there. Kurt, it's an interesting story on this, Royce, besides his arm. And by that I mean he wanted to know the answer of why am I so good in the bullpen and not so good in the game, and he went to a hypnotist, a fellow named Arthur Allen, who helped Don Sutton. And when you talk to him about it, Royce says we talked it over. He put me in a trance, and he taught me to squeeze my finger when I felt tension. It's his thumb and against his middle finger, and that seems to relieve it. And then when he gets down to the bottom line, he said, if I got good stuff, I'll win.
Boy, he had some great curves there he threw Bobby Bonds. He just kept throwing him breaking stuff. Bonds had flied out to deep right his first time. That's strikeout number 2 for Jerry Royce. Rod Carew lined to left field. Rod Carew, wife's expecting a baby any time. And so he had his mother-in-law and his 2-year-old daughter come down to the game, and his wife's home. A piece of quiet tonight watching the game. The astronauts up there flying around someplace with a beautiful moon over Milwaukee tonight. Typical Rod Carew punching the ball through. I'd say right now that anybody in the majors of the active players that we know are going to hit 400 again, the way Williams did in 41. It would be Carew, but every year you gets later for him. He loses some speed and beating out infield hits a bunch.
He might have that kind of chance on 6 artificial surfaces in the National League, but I don't think there's anybody in baseball who gets the fat part of the bat on the ball more often than Carew.
I just try to pick the pitch up because sometimes if you come out here and try and guess with a guy, you know, he's going to make a good pitch. You might be looking for a certain pitch. You're not going to get that pitch. So I just try to pick the ball up and hit the ball where it's pitched.
Rod Carew picks out his pitch and hits it.
He's ahead of Thurman Munson, 1-2 with Carew at first, 1 out. High fly ball hoisted to center. Jim Wynn will be there. Easy play for him. 2 down. Reggie Jackson took a called third strike his first time up. And his teammate Joe Rudy will come out on deck.
Royce, the last time up, just blew the ball by Jackson. It'll be interesting to see now if he goes for the curveball. You think Jackson wants this pitch, Joe? 2-0.
Inside to him, ball 3.
You think he wants this one?
3-0.
Look at him looking at the coach. If he'd get the take sign there, a shock would set in.
There's the home run leaders. Mayberry up there, 2. There are the home run leaders. He went for it. 3-1.
He said, I'm not coming all the way from Oakland to take 3-0. That's that real great situation, boy. That's that room service pitch. Hello, room service. 3-0. Fat fastball right here. Big crowd.
3-1. Wouldn't be surprised to see Royce throw him a curveball right here. Let's see. Oh, boy, he blew a fastball. That's as hard as he can throw.
Yes, sir. That'll break your glove in 1 pitch right there.
Benches. Did you see Bench nodding his head on that one? 3-2 to Jackson. 2 down. Carew will be going on the pitch. He'll get a big lead. There he goes. Bounding ball hit to short. Here's the throw to first. He's got it beaten. The shortstop, Concepcion, was playing Jackson over by second base and had to go over in the hole for that.
Seen that great combination in Reggie Jackson that so many of the modern baseball players have. Power, strength, and great speed. Dave almost comes up with a fine play, but Jackson can run.
After Munson flies out, Reggie Jackson, a power hitter, hits one to deep short and beats it out for an infield hit.
Well, the American League has runners on first and second, 2 out. They've had 2 hits off Royce this inning. The National League's ahead 3-0. Home runs by Garvey and Jim Wynn in the second inning, and Bench singled in the 3rd run in the 3rd. Rudy rounded the 3rd his first time up. The 2-1 pitch, or the bounding ball is short. Concepcion, long throw to first. In time, that Concepcion could really play shortstop. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Into 3, 3-0 National League. There are the 2 managers, Alvin Dark. He managed the National League team to an all-star victory once. And Walter Alston. 8 times previously he's managed all-star teams. Concepcion leading off, just made that fine play. And he lines a base hit into left field. The National League keeps hammering away. And coming up now, we'll have a pinch hitter for Jerry Royce. It's like Bob Watson, who scored the 1 millionth run in the history of baseball this year.
In 1975, a league-wide contest commemorated the 1 millionth run in baseball history. And on May 4th, Watson was credited with the honor when he hustled to score on a Milt May homer against the Giants in San Francisco, where he beat Dave Concepcion, who had just homered in Cincinnati, by seconds.
It was something that, you definitely don't plan for. And if I hadn't sprinted to score the run from third base, that's how I scored the millionth run.
Here is a player I want to see what you fellas think. I think does not really get the credit nationally he deserves. Bob Watson.
Well, there's no doubt about it, Kurt. He has had a fine year. He's quiet. He doesn't talk a lot. He's really a very Christian man, too, and he does a lot of things. And here we'll see the 1 millionth home run is scored by Bob Watson.
1 millionth run. Right.
The loudest that I've ever heard him, Kurt, is when he put that uniform on.
Runner on first. Concepcion. There he goes. Hit and run. Throw. Out at second base. Rod Carew took the peg Munson can really get rid of the ball.
He sidearmed that ball, actually. That's not a picture throw, but by Munson's own admission, he says, I'm not a picture kind of player. A good jump, but as Munson and Kurt said, got rid of that ball, and the tag, Concepcion claims the tag was high, but Carew gave it a nice, light, feathery touch, kind of pickpocket version. Watch this throw. Sidearm. That looked like a wet page from the baseball primer.
Not supposed to do that?
Not supposed to do
But
it.
it works.
But don't judge me on my method, on my results.
1 ball, 1 strike to Bob Watson. 5th in batting in the National League with 326. High fly to Joe Rudy in left. Plenty of room. 2 down. And to the top of the order we go. And now Rose will be hitting left. He singled right-handed in the first inning and flied out right-handed in the second. 1 out of 2.
You know, Munson kind of reminds me of great Ernie Lombardi, the way he threw it, in many ways. I mean, Ernie would just flip that ball and look like you're going to beat it, and you couldn't steal on him.
Pete Rose tied with Garvey for second in the majors in base hits. Hits a line shot to Campanera. That was a quick inning. At the end of 3.5, it's the National League 3, the American League nothing. The Dodgers' 13-game winner, Donald Howard Sutton, 30 years old, comes to the mound now.
Sutton will face Greg Nettles, and Greg Nettles was running low in the balloting for third base in the American League. He came on strong the last week, as Kurt mentioned. We talked to Greg, and we offered our congratulations to him.
Thank you, Tony. It's a big thrill for me, and I'm also thrilled that the fans appreciated that season I'm having, and it's something I've always looked forward to, and I hope to play in many more games.
All right, Greg Nettles leads it off in the last of the 4th. The American League's behind 3-0. It'll be Nettles, Tennis, and Campaneris. The strike, we have a couple of caps on now, Mrs. Kissinger and Mr. Secretary. Dodger and Milwaukee caps. There's a drive and a right by Nettles for a base hit. Back to the ball game. Gene Tennis reached in an error his first time. Campaneris will be up next. High fly out in a shallow left. Lubrock. 1 down.
I think it's interesting when you look at some of the players who are not here at the All-Star game. A lot of the power hitters from the American League are not here. You look at the number 2, 3, and 4 RBI men in the American League. Horton and Rice are tied, and Lee May, 4th. They're not here. The American League's leading base stealer's not here. Mickey Rivers. 2 of the 4 top home run hitters are not here. Mayberry and Burroughs. So it's a tough American League squad when you can leave those men off it.
Campanera singled his first time. That's a strike to him, a sharp breaking curveball. And we're going to have a pinch hitter.
Hargrove, the Rangers.
For the Rangers, Mike Hargrove. Which means a new American League pitcher coming on in the 5th. Jim Cott's warming up in the American League bullpen.
It's going to be fun to see him come in and see how these National Leaguers react to that no windup. There's Hargrove. A quick pitch by Cott.
Ooh, back to the box. It's a base hit. Nettles is without. Better hold. Nettles started the 3rd, then wisely decided to hold up. Jim Wynn had his elbow operated on, and they take little liberties on him.
Here's a low center field camera angle. This is what it looked like. You can see the reaction, self-defense on the part of Sutton. Who says the All-Stars don't try? Look at David Concepcion, who's had 2 good plays already, and he almost made another one diving for that ball.
Campanera singles right back up the middle. And it's runners on 1st and 2nd now.
Mike Hargrove batting. 25 years old. 4th pro year. Hit over 300 last year. He was the Rookie of the Year in the American League last year. The American League keeps threatening but hasn't scored yet. Sutton crowds him. They had a couple of hits in the 3rd. Stan Musial, the honorary captain. And they had 2 hits here in the 4th inning. They had 2 men on in the 2nd. National League keeps pitching out of trouble. There's a high blast in the deep right center. Rose says, I've got room, makes the catch, the tag at second. Nettles comes to third. And the American League has runners on first and third as Hargrove nearly reached the stands, but not quite. 2 down. The top of the order, Mickey Mantle, the honorary captain of the American League. So, well, you got that. You gave it a good cut, kid.
Texas Rangers star Mike Hargrove steps to the plate. Last year's American League Rookie of the Year. Well hit, deep to right field. Rose is going back. He's going to have room. Makes the play. But Nettles tags up and moves on over to third. Good running by Nettles.
That's a pretty good study of the interest that these ball players have. I think they're like fans in many ways, Tony. I never played an all-star game, but I watched in batting practice. Different guys were hitting. Activity would stop because they hadn't seen the guy play and they want to watch him do anything.
I sat with Mantle and Musial yesterday in the lobby, and Fred Lynn came in, and I'll tell you into this story in a moment.
Bobby Bonds, there's a throw to first. He's out. They got him. Ernie Finch has picked Campaneris off. So again, the American League left men on. At the end of 4, it's 3-0 National League.
With Bonds swinging, watch his pickoff. Campaneris is out. Let's take a look at that again. What a throw. This takes a good arm, a good quick play. Big favorite with the fans, Johnny Bench.
The All-Star Game, one of the action highlights of Major League Baseball. This year's All-Star action takes place in Milwaukee. To commemorate the 1975 All-Star Game, Commissioner Bowie Kuhn has selected the Balfour Company to present this golden saddle ring to each of the All-Star players and coaches. All-Star action and tradition. Get with Major League Baseball.
The preceding announcement was furnished by Major League Baseball. Here's a real human interest story. A man that looked like he was washed up. 20-game winner last year. He's coming back, headed for a 20-game season this year. Jim Cott, the veteran now of the Chicago White Sox. The story on him is his quick pitch.
I tell you, he just gets the ball and he throws it. Looks like there's not too much on it, but that's really false security because he's zipping that ball in it pretty good.
Joe Coleman tried it with the Detroit Tigers against the White Sox. Maybe it's the coming thing. Remember when the no wind-up delivery came in with Turley and Larson? Coleman tried it, shut out. But Detroit for 7 1/3 innings.
In the old days, guys would wind up like a windmill and kick high. Now it's everything is being abbreviated.
Let's take a look at that last play. Bobby Bonds, the leading home run hitter in the American League, and Campy takes a little too much liberty. Ordinarily an excellent base runner, but with Bonds up, well, you might call it not too good a base running, I guess, to put it mildly.
The American League is threatened the last 3 innings, and he's gone out of there.
Wasn't even close, was it?
Nope. Lou Brock has flied to left and single. Bounding ball to Campaneris. Over to tennis, 1 down. Now watch Cotton, how quickly he's going to work. He'll get that ball back, and he just takes it and flips it right back like a dart thrower to the plate. Joe Morgan is single and fouled out. I'm sure the National League's been warned about him. And Morgan's taking his time getting in. They may be stepping out on him.
He's ready. Look at him. He's loaded, boy.
He's geared to go.
He's ready.
Cott's 36 years old. The second All-Star game. Wait a minute. No pitch. Morgan had asked for time, was out of there. That's the strategy. So don't let this guy quick pitch you now. A ball.
You know, I would think that would make you very anxious at the plate. Like you'd be kind of pressing to be ready.
You're timing a pitcher's delivery. Remember how Yogi used to sway that bat to and fro across the plate, timing the windup? Well, it's eliminated in this, and the ball's on you quickly. There goes
Morgan asked for time again, you see. The count is really 2-0. They have a 3-0 count on the scoreboard. That's twice Morgan's backed out on him. The Cott's used to this. Pop up. Third baseman Nettles. Directing the traffic was Cott. The pitcher said Nettles' ball. It's 2 down.
We talked to Jimmy Cott before the ballgame and asked him if this no windup or quick pitch delivery is the coming trend among pitchers.
Well, I think it's proven to a number of pitchers, myself included, that there's more than one way to deliver the ball, and that this has a great effect on throwing the hitter's timing off. And I think if a pitcher can do it and keep his stuff and his rhythm, it's going to be a great weapon.
By the story of this fellow, there's a softball. That was it. What a changeup.
Look at Johnny. Johnny said, throw it again. He got a smile. Give it to me again, he said.
1-1 pitch. Very placid. That was going to be a foul ball down the left field line. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Shades of Rip Sewell, that Eva's pitch. He's talking to himself. That Connie's got these guys talking and answering themselves.
Cott's ready to go again.
Cott's also an excellent fielding pitcher. He's won a Gold Glove winner in each of the last 13 seasons.
He did give it to him.
That drives out to Rooney. Didn't take Mr. Cott long, did it? 3 up and 3 down. And we're halfway through the 75 All-Star game with a score of the National League 3 American. Well, we hope you've enjoyed the first half of this game. Home runs by Garvey and Wynn. Bench single and a run. The American League's had their chances. Can't crack through. We've got some changes. And to take you the rest of the way play-by-play and to give you the changes, Mr. Joe Garagiola. Joe?
Okay, Kurt, the changes will be in the outfield. We've got Pete Rose moving over to left field. Jim Wynn comes out, and Reggie Smith of the Cardinals goes into center field. And in right field, it's Bobby Mercer of the San Francisco Giants. That's the new outfield. Mercer will be batting second. Smith bats sixth. Bobby Bonds, strike 1. Remember, he was the batter when Johnny Bench picked Campanera, so. 51,480. Boy, that says it all. All-time County Stadium high. Well hit. Rose is going to have a tough play, and he makes it. Oh, that Pete Rose, brother. I tell you, they use an expression to describe him. They say that he's Mr. Hustle. And when he takes his shoes off, they still go for 10 minutes. Watch this, Tony.
The ball's sinking a lot. Remember, Pete just came over from right field. He's played most of this season at third base, and he still does the job for you in the outfield.
Now, here's quite a shift for him. He first time from right to left field. The ball's at him at a different angle. He's got it. Makes his tumbling grab.
His body
comes up with it.
His body took a bad hop. Look at that.
Bottom of the 5th. Alston's decision to move Rose to left field pays off. A great catch. Watch it again. Bobby Bonds is the hitter. A sinking line drive. He's got it. These are the kind of incredible plays that the crowd has come to expect of Pete Rose, and he certainly hasn't let him down. Charlie Hustle.
He really caught that ball and held on to it. Fantastic play by Pete Rose. Oh, I love to see those plays because it kind of gripes me when I hear people say, oh, it's just another game. Here's Carew. Right to Morgan. 2 outs. What a play by Pete Rose. That ball by Bonds was really hit hard. Next Saturday, Milwaukee at Chicago and Atlanta at New York. We've seen in Milwaukee and Chicago. So that's the Saturday baseball, 2 o'clock. There it is. Milwaukee versus the White Sox. And in Milwaukee and in Chicago, you'll see Atlanta and the Mets. Right here on NBC, 2 o'clock Saturday. Here's Munson. He was hit by a pitch and flying to center field. Ace hit. Rose is up with it.
Cincinnati Reds players have been more in the dirt than they've been on their feet. That's about the 3rd time for Dave, once for Rose. He just misses it. Munson difficult to play. He was playing him a little bit up the middle, but Thurman really sprays the ball around.
Conception's big asset is the range he covers. He's tall. We're going to have a runner coming in here now.
Claudell Washington.
He just has gone through some tests. He had some dizzy spells. He's only 20 years old and one of the coming superstars of baseball. The tests were all negative. They've given him a clean bill of health, much to the relief of the Oakland A's.
It's too bad it's a 3-0 National League lead, or we'd see this fella running because Claudell can run. He's got a big, he may go anyhow.
Garvey playing behind him, you never know.
There he goes. No chance. If he gets him, it'll be a miracle. Garvey was playing behind him, and Claudell said, if you want to give it to me, well, I'll sign up for it and take it. And he did.
Joe, this is one of the changes in baseball that I think is for the better. With all the speedy base stealers around, even though they're behind, they take off and run and get in scoring position. No longer play that one by the book, and I know you like it.
Oh, I love it. I think it's great because that's out of play. The stolen base that you get today really serves notice for the next couple of days, even though it may not figure in the scoring right here, but the next time Claudell Washington gets on, they're going to say, you better watch him holding close. It might mean more curveballs. It might mean the guy holds him on. You got a big hole between first and second. It's a real good commercial.
Now, getting back to Washington, here he is, only 20 years old. He's stolen 32 bases this year, and he's hitting over 300. You think he's got a future?
No. 1-2 pitch.
Look out.
Strike 3 is called. It was a beauty. A curveball caught the outside corner. At the end of 5 innings, the score, National 3, American nothing. We've got some changes. There you see George Scott, a tremendous ovation as he comes in to play first base. Gene Tennis goes behind the plate. And Claudell Washington is in center field. And of course, Jim Cott with his quick pitch. There you see Claudell Washington. Got an all Oakland outfield with different uniforms. High fly ball, Reggie Jackson with the green top and white bottom. He makes the play.
They're going to have a decision someday to make there in Oakland because Alvin Dark says Claudell Washington's best position is right field.
Johnny Sain, White Sox pitching coach, is the one who helped Cott develop this delivery, and Cott says it speeds up my arm motion, speed up the rest of my body. My arm is faster. I've got more velocity on my pitches, and I still have my control. He's a great fielder, too. He's won a lot of Golden Gloves in the American League out on the mound, and a pretty good hitter when he used to hit.
Smith, a good cut on the slow pitch. You know, ball players do a lot of things to help themselves. We talk about Royce. Reggie Smith, he keeps his hands strong by using weighted drummer sticks. And he got the idea from shaking hands with Buddy Rich, believe it or not. Fly ball in left field. Joe Rudy goes back. Smith said he shook hands with Buddy Rich, and he said, I couldn't believe how strong his hands were. And Buddy Rich says, well, use these sticks a while and see what happens. He said for about 10 seconds, and they flew out of his hands. He couldn't hold them.
That was a good pitch Cott just threw Reggie Smith, just a little bit off his fastball, and had Smith out in front.
Here is Ron Say. He is 1 for 2. Oh, there it is, that old Ephus pitch.
That's like almost softball. 10-inch arc, 10-foot arc.
Rip Sewell threw that Ephus pitch in the World Series?
Against Ted Williams also in an all-star game.
There it is again, bouncing ball. Nettles has it. Cott's going to have another easy inning. 3 up and 3 down. Who can knock it? Scores. We're going to bottom of the 6th. National League 3, American League nothing. Well, next Monday night, we'll be in Baltimore. Oakland against Baltimore, and Milwaukee at Chicago will be seen in Oakland and Baltimore. And preceding the game on the baseball world, we'll bring you highlights of that annual congressional ball game between the Republicans and the Democrats. So we invite you to watch it. I'm kind of anxious to see it myself. They'll have a quorum there, and they play by their own rules, so you'll see it. NBC Sports, #1 in live coverage of major sports events all year round. Bill Matlock is at third base for the National League from the Chicago Cubs. And the new pitcher is Tom Seaver.
This is New York Mets ace Tom Seaver, and he's Walter Alston's pick for the bottom of the 6th. There you saw Alston giving a change to the umpire. Seaver, coming into this game, owns a 13-5 one-loss record and a 1.85 earned run average.
Tom Seaver against Joe Rudy. Joe Rudy is 0 for 2. Bounced out both times. Not this time, though. Base hit. Rudy jumped on the first pitch. He is known as a first ball fastball hitter. And here comes George Hendrick in the run for Rudy.
Joe, the American League has been stinging the ball now the last 3 innings. Well, they had 2 hits in the 3rd, 2 hits in the 4th, a single in the 5th, a single here in the 6th, but they're all singles. They're not getting that big hit or that extra base hit they need.
Greg Nettles. Nettles is 1 for 2. Look out.
Almost got one of our Dominican Republic broadcasters, Ellis Perez. They're sending this ball game via satellite back to the Dominican Republic, I believe for the first time.
First time, and no Dominican player in the game tonight.
Which is an upset with all the great Dominican players in organized baseball.
Good pitch by Seaver. This is his 5th All-Star game. There goes Henrik. Bench is going to have a tough throw. It is not in time. Seaver just kind of glanced at Henrik, and Henrik really got a good jump. Johnny Bench made a tremendous throw.
So twice now, the American League, last time Claudel Washington, the pinch runner. It's a tough job. You come off the bench cold. Perfect pitch to go on, though. Bench did all he could to get rid of the ball with great stuff on it, but that low pitch, a tough one to come up with and throw fast.
It was a slow breaking pitch that gave Henrik that extra half step or so.
Greg Nettles at bat. Pinch runner Hendrick takes off and makes it. Got the green light, gambled, and made it.
Greg Nettles, good cut, didn't get it, and Seaver gets a big strikeout. Boy, a picture of confidence. Look at him. Seaver and Bench, 2 franchises. If I own those 2 guys, I'll make them sleep in a deep freeze.
I like to be half an agent for each one.
Oh, me. Here is Gene Tennis. Gets booed here, but I'll tell you something, boys. In Bologna, he's big. I asked one of those Italian kids, who's your favorite player? He said, Gino Tenacci. That's my favorite player. Tenacci. That's the way they say it over there.
Got a rookie on deck now, fellas. Freddie Lynn of the Red Sox.
What a year he's having, that fellow. Henrik, a good lead.
He has a rookie teammate right behind him, Jim Rice, by just a few runs batted in, too. I think both of them have knocked in nearly 50% of the Red Sox runs are produced in this year.
Sidearm curveball. It's 1 ball and 1 strike on Tennis. Tennis was safe on an error, and he flied to left field. 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. He walked him, and here comes Fred Lynn, a pinch hitter.
Joe, I started to tell a story earlier, a couple of innings ago, as Lynn steps in, about sitting with Musial and Mantle in the lobby, and Fred Lynn was with his father. And Musial and Mantle said, how well do you know Fred Lynn? Well, I said, I've seen him play a couple times. They said, could you get him over and introduce us to him?
Is that right?
Talk about fans, and Fred was thrilled when I told him that story. He said, you got to be kidding me, but it's true.
Well, what a great young player this fellow is, 23 years old.
Of all the Sox who had great seasons, rookie Fred Lynn had the greatest. In fact, one night in Detroit, he had a great season in 1 game. With 3 home runs, a triple, and a single, Fred Lynn produced 16 total bases and 10 runs batted in. Not a bad evening at all for a young man who just 3 years ago was playing college ball and spent his fall afternoons running back kickoffs for Southern Cal.
High fly ball, right field. Bobby Mercer calls for it. And Mercer makes the play. So there are 2 away, and here comes Carl Yastrzemski. He'll be the batter for Busby. Or Cott, rather.
He has been red hot the last month.
.313, 10 home runs, 40 runs batted in. 5 for 5 game on Sunday. He's 12 for his last 23. That's a Little League average, over 500. Carl Yastrzemski. National League leading 3-0, bottom of the 6th. Well hit, deep to right field. This ball could be gone. Back, home run.
Goes Bernie Brewer, just disappeared to the Suds. He has caught fire. He raised his average from 210 to 313. No doubt about that one. And the American League finally got that big hit. In 4 of the last 5 innings, they've had 2 men on base each inning, but couldn't punch one through. They finally got it.
Carl Yastrzemski comes to the plate, pinch hitting for Jim Cott. Seaver against Yastrzemski. Fastball, and there she goes. Way back. Home run. Let's take a look again. Yes, ties it up, 3-3. And now the American League fans have something to cheer about and more to hope for.
And listen to this crowd. Look at that bench. It has come alive. Everybody's up. Yastrzemski, a 3-run pinch hit home run. First pitch by Tom Seaver to Yastrzemski, and we're all tied up. Here is George Scott. Got those beads on that he wears. There you see him. I asked him what those are. He said those are second baseman's teeth. He is something.
I have to tell you the story. Remember when Bill Bowling signed him?
Oh, yeah.
You got a man up there named Ted Williams. Did you tell him that George C. Scott is on the way?
And he believed it. I said to him, George, I need a line for the All-Star game. He said, how can we lose with what we use? Got a little bit of Muhammad Ali poetry in him. Oh, he went for a long one. He was going for a tater, as he calls them. He likes that ball inside, and he refers to it as heat in the kitchen. There is Seaver sneering and Scott waiting. Strike is called. Didn't like it. There's a great study in contrast.
It's the best fielding first baseman I've ever seen. Never seen a better one.
Seaver gets him on a big breaking curveball, but at the end of 6, we're all tied up at 3 apiece.
Seaver gets Brewer, George Scott on the changeup, and that ends the inning. It's all tied up.
Now pitching. And batting ninth, Catfish Hunter.
Jim Catfish Hunter, the New York Yankee stars, the American League's hope to stop the National League.
Well, we almost have a new lineup out there. Claudel Washer now has gone to left field. Fred Lynn is in center field. George Hendrick is in right field. We have a new shortstop, Bucky Dent, and a new pitcher, Catfish Hunter. And Luzinski's coming up to bat. Well, you got a lot of action coming up. And following him will be Madlock. Look at the legs on Luzinski, you fans, when we get a full-length shot of him. I never saw a stronger pair of legs on a man.
25 home runs and 79 runs batted in. Lead the National League. His legs got places where we usually have muscles.
What a comeback he's had after he had that knee surgery last year. He finished the year when they thought he might not play the rest of the year, and he's leading the league in home runs now.
Hey, this is interesting. The old battery mates are back together.
That's right. There's Luzinski leading at 25, bench 19, Stargell 17. Slow curveball. Good curveball. Catfish Hunter. Who do you think his baseball hero is? I heard him on a television show the other night. Catfish Hunter. Luzinski is out on strikes. Kurt, I don't think you'd guess it in a million years. You would need to.
Baseball hero?
His hero, who he enjoyed watching play baseball. And it was a fellow that we all know so well. I was
in this part of the country?
No.
Nino Slaughter.
I'll have to tell you. Jimmy Pearsall.
Was it really?
He said he was really an exciting player for me.
He was.
Here is Bill Madlock, and what a year this young fella's having. There it is, 353, leads the National League. High fly ball. Claudel Washington and Fred Lynn. Who's going to get it? Washington says, nope. Lynn says, let the sure man have it.
Lynn is not only good with a bat, but a superb outfielder. He can go get the ball, good hands, knows what to do with it after he gets it. Just born to play Major League Baseball.
he went to USC on a football scholarship,
Right.
too.
And the first play in spring practice, they ran 2 pulling guards and Sam Cunningham at him, and he decided to change back to baseball again.
That'll make you change your mind, wouldn't it?
And John McKay, who was the athletic director, let him keep his scholarship and go to baseball, which was very thoughtful of John.
Pete Rose. Up the middle, Rose sneaks it through, gets another base hit. That's his second base hit.
It was an interesting shot as the ball went up the middle, and Hunter started to go after it with his bare hand. And recall what, a couple of years ago, Alan Roth, he did the same thing and injured his thumb and was out for quite a while.
Broke his thumb.
Billy Williams smacks one up the middle. Hunter deflects it, and Williams has a single to become the first base runner of the night. On the replay, the sharp one bouncer hits Catfish Hunter on his pitching hand. Hunter's reflex action to make the play barehanded leads to a broken thumb.
Here is Bobby Mercer batting for the first time in this game. Mercer from the San Francisco Giants, and that Bonds to the Yankees, and Mercer to San Francisco trade. Big lead by Rose. There goes Rose. Bouncing ball. Nettles comes in fast. In time. Got him. Good close play. So the score is still tied up as we go into the bottom of the 7th, 3 apiece. Now we got Larry Boa over at shortstop. And the new pitcher is John Matlack. Matlack is the pitcher. Madlock is the third baseman. Stock and Haller, the umpire, going over.
Funny thing, Alvin Dark was saying yesterday that he was going all out to win. He would make very few changes. He's got practically a new ball club in this ball game. And it's his reserves that really came to life. There he is talking to the rookie, Fred Lynn. How's it feel, kid, to be here as a rookie playing in your first All-Star game? Freddie Lynn with his back to you.
Tie ball game, bottom of the 7th, Carew against John Matlack. I asked him about the 4 different stances that he's got. This would be a kind of an open stance. He uses one where it's square, his legs are close for right-hand curveball pitchers, and then he uses one partially open and slightly back and wide open and an open stance. I would think this would be stance number 2. Look, he's moved already. He constantly moves. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Struck him out. John Matlack with a good fastball. This is his second All-Star game, picks up a strikeout.
Matlack strikes Carew out.
Washington is up to now. Claudel Washington. Bouncing ball up the middle, and Claudel gets a base hit. And he likes to run. He can run, and with the score tied, he probably will run.
Here it is, looking over the shoulder of Reggie Smith, just out of the reach. And again, Claudel, you'll see why he gets a lot of hits up the middle. They play their infield spread apart, shortstop and second base on him. He does spray the ball around.
Billy Martin is the first base coach, and he was over talking to Claudel Washington, but Alvin Dark just turns him loose. He gives him a green light. This is Bucky Dent of the White Sox. Big lead by Claudel Washington. That was just a little bit of a notice that I know you're there. Not his good move.
Dent is a very difficult man to strike out. He's a tough out.
Good butter, too.
That was a little better. Still not his good move. He hasn't given you that Sunday move yet. High.
Joe, it's great to see those shortstops come in and bat cleanup in an all-star game. You think Dent ever dreamed of that?
Oh, brother. He'll tell his grandkids about it. I don't blame him.
Well, they got a catcher batting cleanup at the inside.
Say, I was on a team with Henry Aaron and George Scott. And
there goes Claudel. They got him picked off. Will he make it? It got him. He broke too soon. He was in no man's land. And Garvey to Boa. And now the bag was torn loose.
Matlack threw over a couple times. You can see here, this sometimes is a pre-planned play. Brock does it. Morgan does it. They get the big lead, draw a throw, and then try and beat the first baseman's throw to second base, but not this time.
That was a good shot we had there because you could see he broke really way too soon.
Fastball high to the White Sox star, Bucky Dent. And Billy Martin, coaching at first, talks over the situation with the speedy Caudell Washington. And he can run. Matlack must have been listening. Washington is picked off. He's out.
Well, it's good the groundskeepers get a little bit of television exposure because they get this field in great shape. They're constantly working.
This is something I think the fans rarely see, how a bag is anchored down at a major league ballpark. This all happens 3 or 4 hours before a ball game starts.
Remember the old days when they had the straps?
Right.
You can take a look at how hard Caudell Washington slid. He must have broken that metal part loose.
He tore it right off.
He really hit hard, and he grabbed it with his hand, too.
So here is Bucky Dent. Curveball, and Dent is out on strike. Slow curveball. So we end 7 innings, and we're still tied up here. National 3, American League 3. Joe Morgan jumped on the first pitch and just fouled it off for strike 1. He can really control that strike zone. Strike 2. Cecil Upshaw has a great description. Upshaw says that he's so small that even when you pitch to the bottom part of the strike zone, his eyeballs are not very far from it. He's right. 2-strike pitch. Popped up. Rod Carew's taking charge. Morgan is out.
Joe, a catfish hunter's got to be a pleasure to sit behind home plate and try and catch. Tennis has been putting the target up, and he's been right near it almost every pitch, and he changes speed so well, just upsets the hitter's timing.
He just moves the ball around. Here is Johnny Bench. Right side, George Scott. He calls for it with that black beauty. He'll get a tremendous hand. Hey, hometown boy makes it. They love him here. Why not? He's had some good years.
Tony Perez now coming onto the on-deck circle. He's going to be a pinch hitter.
He won the All-Star game in Anaheim in the 15th inning with a home run.
He's off Hunter, too.
On the second pitch, Hunter fires a fastball, and Perez rips into it for a long drive to left field. It's going, gone for a home run into the left field bleachers. Perez hit 17 homers the first half of the season for the Reds, and this one gives Tony an added big thrill.
Tony Perez. Ball 1.
All the Reds are having those big years together, but not just the stars, it's whoever they put in the lineup.
You look at the Foster, for example.
Griffey.
Griffey's another one. Catfish hunter against Perez. Good swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fastball got him, and Catfish gets a strikeout. And that's it for the National League. We go into the bottom half of the 8th inning, tied up at 3 apiece.
Henry Aaron tied an All-Star game record by appearing in his 24th game today. We asked Henry before the ballgame if it seemed like 20 years ago that he played here in Milwaukee.
Well, I can remember that 1955 All-Star game, Tony, very well. Of course, Stan Musial hit the home run off Sullivan in the 12th inning to win the game. And I just like to say that I'm very happy to be participating in my 24th All-Star game and hope the fans enjoy it.
Well, Henry, I'll tell you, the fans are really enjoying it. And the ovation that he got before the game was a tremendous thrill. We're all tied up, bottom of the 8th. Here is Hendrick. We've had a couple changes on defense for the National League. Cash is at second, Perez is at first. There is Dave Cash, and you talk about Mr. Positive Thinking, and there's Tony Perez. George Hendrick from the Cleveland Indians. Broke the other way.
Yeah, he did.
And now he ain't going to get him. Did not get him. He broke the other way, Tony.
He sure did. That fastball tails away. That Matlack throws to right-handed hitters, and as soon as he saw the fastball sign, Cash was shading to his left, and a little thing like this may mean a difference. Hendricks really ran hard all the way. You can see him going. Almost a good recovery by Davy Cash.
George Henrik. Henrik with good power. Legs out an infield single despite a great play by Dave Cash.
Here now is Nettles. He's singled in the fourth inning. He's 1 for 3. Matlock at third base. He's moved in close. He's looking for the bunt. Right off the shin guards.
Well, I bet Nettles hasn't done much of this in his career.
No. He bunted that one. He's a little bit disgusted. Look at him. He's saying, bunt, how do you spell it? Never mind, how do you bunt? Again, they're going to give it to me? Come on. Right to Perez. They got one. Boa's coming back, and they do not get him. The throw was off target.
Hendricks barreled in to shortstop Boa just enough to upset his timing on the throw. Force a wild throw, or they could not get Nettles. Look at it. Here comes Hendricks. Boa trying to get out of the way to the inside. He just made him jump out of the way a little bit. It's upset him. He didn't get much on the throw.
You think he had enough time, Tony? I really thought he did.
I think he had plenty of time. There he is. He's got the ball. Nettles does not run well.
The ball's released before he's there.
That's right. He took that
Made a
for
bad
granted.
throw.
Yes,
Right.
sir. I agree with you. Tennis takes the strike. 2 strikes, the count. Tony, if a ground ball was hit right now to Cash, there's no way. He'd have to run over there, wouldn't he? No way he could get a double play at second base.
Boy, it'd be tough. Bo would have a long way to go to make the throw. He doesn't have 2 very speedy runners, which could be to the advantage.
You don't have to worry about it.
What a good
got
fastball.
Yeah, that was a good fastball. Got it up.
A lot of the National League hitters talk about John Matlack as having about the livest arm, but one of the livest. That ball really darts in the strike zone.
2 men out. There goes Nettles, a big jump. No way, he may go to third. He's rounding second. He is going to go to third. The throw is not in time. Matlack did not give him a look, and Nettles took off. And may have crossed Johnny Bench up. And now Nettles is at third.
What a surprise. Nobody in the ballpark, including Matlack, expecting Nettles to go, but he takes off. Had he been thrown out at third base by Betts, there might have been an obstruction as Boa got in his way. Did not steal a base all season long, and Nettles comes up with a stolen base. You think he crossed him up?
No.
I think the ball just was concealed from his view by the bat of Lynn and his body.
Right. You're absolutely right, Tony. I don't think he was crossed up. I think that bat got right in the line of vision. John wasn't sure and went off the heel.
Nettles hadn't had a steal during the regular season.
Well, he's in scoring position at third with 2 men out. But Matlack gets the strikeout. Lynn is out on strikes. That ends the 8th inning, and we're all tied up at the end of 8 complete innings. National League 3, American League 3.
Hi, I'm Bob Uecker. You know, during my brilliant baseball career, about the closest I came to first-hand knowledge of an all-star game is what I read. And though I was voted in each year, I was always asked to take the 3 days off. This year, though, I've been closer than I've ever been to the Classic thanks to this official 75 All-Star magazine, full of features, facts, and a super fold-out poster. To get your copy, send a check or money order for $2.50 to All-Star Magazine, Box 0, Milwaukee. That's $2.50 to All-Star Magazine, Box 0, Milwaukee. See you in the book.
The preceding announcement was furnished by Major League Baseball and Balfour. Here is Reggie Smith. He is batting left-handed against Catfish Hunter. Off the end of the bat, it's going to drop in, and fast as Washington. He drops the ball, can't hold it. He had a long way to come. Now he throws it wildly, but nice play by Catfish Hunter.
Center fielder, Reggie Smith.
In the top of the 9th, the National League jumps on Hunter. The Cardinals' Reggie Smith singles to left as Claudell Washington misses a try for a shoestring catch.
He almost made one terrific catch. He had to come a long way from left field. And you wonder, as he started getting under the ball, if that ball might have gotten in the lights. Let's see where it hits. Right off the heel of his glove. Joe, it looked like he took his eye off the ball and maybe lost it in the lights.
the way line drive, about the third step from where the ball hit him, it looked like he may have been something distracted him, whether he jarred it by running on his heels or whatever. At any rate, Smith is on. Here is Al Oliver. Strike one, tried to bunt, hitting .294, 9 home runs and 48 runs batted in, Oliver.
And this is the last left-handed pinch hitter the National League has.
Have Sanguillen of the Pirates and Gary Carter of Montreal left on their bench.
Both right-handers.
Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. He chased a bad ball, it seemed like. It was on the outside part of the plate, missed. Did he go around? Foul tip. Got a piece of it. He went around all right.
A lively game, hasn't it?
It sure has. And they've had a lot of players in the game. This is the kind of game that, as Tony was saying, people want to see players. They see them. All kinds of plays. We're trying to move Claudell Washington back.
Oliver with good power to left center field and right center field.
Line down the left field line. Washington chasing it. He can't get it. Extra bases. Reggie Smith is digging for third. They're going to hold him up. Red put the red light up. That ball sliced away from Claudell Washington. They moved him back, but not close enough to the line. It's a 2-base hit for Al Oliver, the pinch hitter. And here it is, Tony.
Claudell looks like he's got a beat on it as he hits the warning track, and then he pulls up. He did get to the ball very quickly now as he braces himself against the wall and gets it in very quickly. Shane Dean started to send Smith and then changed at the last. Dark's coming in, signaling for a right-hander.
Pittsburgh's Al Oliver lines into deep left field. The ball skips by Washington as Oliver is in safely at second. Let's look at it again. Al Oliver, another good hitter on that power-packed Pirate club.
A couple of difficult plays in a row for young Claudell Washington in left field.
Interesting story. Claudell Washington almost did not get here. He had those dizzy spells where he fainted, twice in his hotel room. They sent him to doctors, but he wanted to come to the All-Star game.
And here with another human story, Alvin Dark removing a pitcher that he managed last year, the big story in baseball, Hunter moving on to the Yankees.
Well, there it is, a Charger SC. I thought I sold that with $300 back, but we're not putting that on. If you got class, you got to ride in that.
You sold it on that last commercial.
Well, there's a break in the action to score National League 3 and the American League 3.
Manager Alvin Dark has a meeting at the mound, and we're going to have a pitching change. Chicago White Sox relief specialist Rich Gossage is the new pitcher.
Well, the new pitcher is Rich Gossage. He's 4-6, 13 saves, a 1.92 earned run average, and there is the Commissioner's Award for the most valuable player.
And 4 of the 5 winners of that award, that started in 1970. They give this after the game's over. Yastrzemski won it in 1970, Bobby Bonds in 73, Joe Morgan in 72, and Steve Garvey won the Commissioner's Trophy last year. I'd say it's up for grabs right now in this game.
You could put the names on the wall and hit it with the dart, and you'd be in pretty good shape. Here's what they call the basic 4-shot of the pitcher. That's a kind of a joke with our people. That's the quad. And it gives you a good view of Gossage. Study any one of the 4 that you'd like, and you'll see a different view.
And he can throw hard. He has really come along for the White Sox, helping out Terry Forster out of that bullpen. When he comes from the side to right-handed hitters, he'll back you out of the box.
The situation is this. We got base runners at second and third. Oliver is at second. Reggie Smith is at third. There is nobody out. The infield is in. And Larry Boa is the batter. And he is a man who gets the bat on the ball. Tough man to strike out. Out of play.
Boa is an excellent bunter with nobody out. Well, you don't look for a squeeze play. They'd like to get him a crack for the fly ball, but you never know.
Boa's only struck out 12 times in 63 games. Hey, all the way back. Wait a minute. Time is called. It may have hit him. They're going to give him first base. They're going to give him first base. Just didn't nick him. So the bases are loaded now. And it's up to Bill Matlock. And this is what the All-Star games are all about. You got the bases loaded. You're in the top of the ninth. Nobody out, and the National League's leading hitter is up there.
Let's take a look and see if we can pick up the ball actually hitting Larry Ball with first base open. Tennis actually moved outside. He wanted to pitch away. A lot of pressure on the infielders now, Joe.
Yes, sir. Gossage is going to work off the stretch. Outside, ball one. Bill Matlock, 353. Morgan, 345. Sanguian, 338. Parker, 336. Not even here. Watson, 326.
Young Parker, 15 homers. There's a big player of the future, Dave Parker with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Pretty good throwing arms in the outfield for the American League right now. Washington throws well, charges the ball well. Left Freddie Lynn, an exceptional throwing arm, but he really charges the ball. And Hendricks throws well and right on the fly ball.
Foul ball out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. And we'll pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. Bases loaded. Out of play once again. Tough pitch. Gossage really coming sidearm. And brother, he wheeled and dealed from third base on that 1-1 pitch. Now with the count of 1 ball and 2 strikes, he'll really be snaking one up there. Matlock, tough hitter. Gossage, tough pitcher. Just missed outside. Oh, baby, how do you take pitches like that? Well, you take them because you're fooled. Sometimes you just can't pull that trigger. He just missed with that one.
Gossage is throwing bullets. He is throwing hard.
Right through middle. 1 run will score. Here comes Oliver. 2 runs will score. Hey, a decoy. And he knocked the ball away, and now they got to play at third base if he throws it. And in it hit Red Shanedean. Right where Red Shanedean sits down, and I don't know who he was throwing it to. Gossage finally picked it up, and that certainly was not all-star play. That's not going to rub. Tony, here's the replay. He might get it.
What a battle by Bill Matlock with Nettles playing in. Gossage pitching from the stretch. He drilled one that just got under the glove with the infield in. And Tennis gives a good decoy. Washington all the way on the fly. Look at that. Almost got him. Now Gossage backing the play up. Almost hits the umpire. The bat boy finally gets red in the tail.
Gossage hits Larry Ball with a fastball that loads the bases. And it brings up Bill Matlock, the National League's leading hitter. A clutch situation. His first All-Star game. Bill Matlock.
Playing with the best, but I want to be on a winning team, which is a National League, I hope, so I'm just going up there, trying to help the National League to win, any way possible.
And this will help. Matlock drills one past Greg Nettles, and 2 runs score. The throw to the plate gets by Gene Tennis and allows Boa and Matlock to move up. National League leads 5-3.
Boy, we've had some action here.
You can throw another name into the hat for the possible MVP of this game, Matlock. Oliver up with a big double to left field.
Yeah.
Jastrzemski's got to be in it for getting the American League back into it. Hot.
You'll find out before anybody because you'll be making the presentation.
No, I'm going to let the commissioner make the presentation.
Oh, okay. Well hit to left field. Claudell Washington going back. Boa is tagging up. Catch is made. Boa comes in. There goes Matlock to third. So it's a 6-3 ball game. Sacrifice fly for Pete Rose. He's had a pretty good night, Mr. Rose.
And Pete Rose continues to haunt the American League. His deep fly ball scores Boa. And Matlock slides into third.
Here is Bobby Mercer. Bouncing ball to Carew. Looks Matlock back, flips to Scott, and Mercer is out. Here is Dave Cash. This guy's really been a spark plug for the Phillies. been a great influence on that ball club, especially on Larry Bowe, who gives him a lot of credit. 324, 4 home runs, 32 runs batted in.
He leads the majors in base hits with 122.
Right off the handle. Dent, long throw. They get him. That ends the inning, so we go into the bottom of the ninth. National League 6, American League 3.
San Francisco Giant Bobby Mercer grounds out. Dave Cash of the Phillies also grounds out. The inning is over, but the National League scores 3 runs.
It's the bottom of the ninth, do or die, and Hal McRae has come out of the American League dugout. He'll be the pinch hitter, and Randy Jones from San Diego Padres will be the new pitcher for the National League.
Here's a fellow that lost 22 games last year. Had an earned run average of 4.46. This year, look at that record. 11-6. He had a perfect game for 7 innings against Cincinnati in July and lost it. And he pitched a 1-hitter in a 10-inning game against the Cardinals. He developed into one of the better young pitchers in the major league, Randy Jones. And he'll try and hold a 3-run lead now in the last of the 9th inning. Al McRae is going to come up to bat as a pinch hitter. He's a right-hander. He'll be followed by George Scott and then Rod Carew.
There is Gary Carter in left field. Al Oliver is in center field. And Reggie Smith has gone to right field. So the outfield is switched around. Randy Jones is a new pitcher.
We've had 3 different players play each outfield position tonight for the National League.
Here is Hal McRae. 310, 4 home runs, 54 runs batted in. He's a good doubles man. That's his specialty. Hits a lot of doubles. Off the end of the bat, Jones going to have an easy play. McRae is out. Jones to Perez. Here is George Scott. There you see Dr. Kissinger, Nancy Kissinger, his wife, Commissioner Kuhn, his wife, Julian Goodman, Bob Howard, NBC. And the most valuable player will be presented by the commissioner and Dr. Kissinger after the ball game. Who will it be?
Were you surprised that he brought in Jones and not his own man Marshall or McGraw?
In a way, I thought Marshall was coming in. Although Marshall had a tough last outing, I think, against the Cardinals. Triple by Baker McBride. The next guy, instead of walking, I think, a base hit and lost it. Foul tip. McGraw, maybe.
The only thing I was thinking, they're more used to coming in holding leads in the 9th inning than a starting pitcher. He certainly looked good against McRae.
Looking at those beads, they were kidding. George Scott said, you know, if you got hurt out there, they wouldn't know whether to call a trainer or a jeweler. He chased a bad ball. He's out of there. I'll tell you, this Randy Jones has come on.
Let's watch this pitch. He's got a natural sinker. Randy Jones, that ball really comes down and dips right off the end of the table on you. And he had McRae off the fist with a sinking fastball and Scott going after a bad pitch. So he's had real stuff against 2 men.
There's a strike right on the outside corner. Randy Jones just gets that ball and throws strikes. Rod Carew, biggest vote getter. 2 outs. American League trailing by 3. We're in the 9th. 6-3 is the score, and there's a curveball that misses. Well, who do you think is the most valuable player in this game? We'll find out right after the game. Right on the outside corner, man. That was a Hall of Fame pitch. Fly ball to left field. This could be it. Carter is there. That's it. A fly ball to Gary Carter. And the National League defeats the American League by the score of 6-3.
Their 4th win in a row. Their 12th win in the last 13 games. The winner is Matlack, pardon me, and the loser is Catfish Hunter, who's now 0-2 in All-Star games. And overall, The National League has 27 victories to 18 for the American League. We'll be back for the presentation of the Commissioner's Trophy right after this message.
Manager Walter Alston brings in San Diego's ace Randy Jones, and he has to face 3 tough hitters: Kansas City's Hal McRae, Milwaukee's George Scott, and Minnesota's Rod Carew. McRae taps back to the mound. Easy out. 1 tough out. George Scott, swinging at a sinking fastball, is the 2nd out. Now it's Minnesota's Rod Carew. Lifts a fly ball to Gary Carter, the Montreal rookie, and the game is over. The final out. And the 6-3 win gives the National League its 27th victory in All-Star competition. And the players congratulate each other. Look at it. Somebody said that the All-Star game is just another game. Dr. Kissinger adds status to the Commissioner's Trophy given to the game's most valuable player as he and Commissioner Bowie Kuhn present this year's trophy to New York Mets pitching star John Matlack and Chicago Cubs batting star Bill Madlock. Matlack and Madlock, hurler and hitter. And that about sums up the National League victory as the curtain closes on a star-filled night in Milwaukee. The 46th All-Star Game is now history.
All right, let's go down to Tony Kubek.
All right, well, they've just come over to the Commissioner's box, Commissioner Bowie Kuhn. And, Commissioner, I'll let you do the honors. You've got 2, it looks like, and you had a tough decision.
Well, we have a first. Since we instituted this award in 1970, for the first time, we have 2 most valuable players. John Matlack and Bill Madlock have been voted by our press corps to be joint most valuable player winners, and I congratulate you both. That's just great. And I'm going to present this trophy to the 2 of you, and for the moment, it's going to have to go for the 2 of you till we figure out how to handle that.
Gentlemen, congratulations, and I know you've got a special guest, Commissioner Bowie Kuhn, you'd like to introduce to these gentlemen.
Dr. Kissinger is here, and I know he wants to say hello to these men.
Bill Madlock, Dr. Kissinger, John Matlack. Good ball game, fellas. We really enjoyed it, and it was probably one of the most exciting ball games we've ever seen. You brought a good game to Milwaukee, my hometown. Comment, John Matlack?
It's just great, Tony. It really is. Felt good, and everybody played good early, and then we looked like we slowed down, and things really picked up late in the ball game. It was a fine game.
Billy Madlock of the Cubs, a big base hit.
Well, I was just trying to, make contact, because they throw me away, and I just hit it and just hope for the best.
Dr. Kissinger, how did you enjoy the game?
It was a great game.
You're a pretty good fan, I'll tell you, and I saw your dear wife, Mrs. Kissinger, here, and she had a Dodger cap on during this ball game.
Well, she's a Dodger fan, but I rooted for the American League.
You're a Red Sox or Yankee fan? I read that somewhere.
I'm a Yankee fan.
Mr. Commissioner, fine ball game and a lot of excitement here, and your box, I know, enjoyed it. You stayed till the end, and Dr. Kissinger, we thank you for staying till the end of the ball game throughout. Good luck to you in your world travels. Thank you, sir. Mr. Commissioner, the balloting worked again. You've got Billy Madlock, John Matlock, the Mets a good ball game.
Darn good ball game.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you, Tony.
Congratulations to you all. Let's go back upstairs right now.
I'll tell you, they ought to put Kubek as a protocol manager down there in the White House. He's all right.
Well, there are the most valuable players. I tell you, the engraver won't have too much of a problem, just changing a few letters. John Matlack, Bill Madlock. There were many, many heroes here, Kurt. Pete Rose had a big night. Home runs back-to-back, Garvey and Wynn. A lot of exciting plays. I tell you, it was the kind of a game that fans just enjoy because we saw a lot of players.
And one swing at a bat by a pinch hitter made this game exciting. Carl Yastrzemski coming out of the dugout in the 6th inning with 2 on and lining a home run to the right center field stands to tie it up. And it was interesting that Matlock brought up that the National League opened and then slowed down. 10 men in a row have been retired by American League pitching until Hunter gave up 2 hits. And young Claudell Washington in the left field corner, Joe, had a couple of very difficult chances.
That he did, and as I look at my scorecard like everybody else's, it really looks chewed up. The National League pitching was pretty strong, as unofficially I got 10 strikeouts of American League All-Stars, and that's always a big, big job. So that's it. The final score here, once again, our statistician was Alan Roth, our production stage manager Jim O'Gorman, our field supervisor Hugh McDermott, and for Tony Kubek, who's still down there doing a little politicking. In Kurt County, this is Joe Garagiola giving the final score once again, 6-3, the National League over the American League, saying so long. The 1975 All-Star Game has been brought to you by your Chrysler Plymouth dealers, who invite you to see Cordova, the new small Chrysler, and by Gillette, makers of new Track 2 shave cream with aftershave conditioners, and by Sears Tire and Auto Centers, home of the Die-Hard battery and the Sears Dynaglass Guardsman radial tire. Don't forget, next Saturday baseball, 2 o'clock, Milwaukee at Chicago, Atlanta at New York will be seen in Milwaukee and Chicago. And next Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Oakland at Baltimore, Milwaukee at Chicago will be seen in Oakland and Baltimore. And on the baseball world, we'll have the annual congressional ball game between the Republicans and Democrats.